All right, amigos, let's get this rocking and rolling. I'm really excited because always at this time of the year, when it comes to like December, I get in like reflective mode. I'm like really kind of like reflecting back on what is the year that we've gone through, what has been good, what has been bad, what has been ugly, what has been beautiful. And then I like looking forward and be like, okay, like what is it that I want to be able to do in the next 12 months and beyond from here. So I do like using the new year as a signpost to be like, all right, stop, pause, let's check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, and how do we actually like get everything planning ahead, which is why I love doing these sessions, and I actually think these are really important. So if you stick with me, if we do some work, this isn't going to be an extremely long session, because I do recommend that what you're going to do is once we wrap this up, so there's going to be us going through like today's intensive together. But what I want you to be able to do is then be able to then stop, do not go and do anything else, and continue on doing the deep work, right? Because there's only so much that we can go through together right now. The rest of it, and where the magic really comes in, is you literally sitting down by yourself, undistracted, going through what we're going to go through together for you to get that clarity. If anyone's like, hey, do you know what I mean? A 30, 60-minute session, we're going to be able to completely plan out the next 12 months, and you're going to be really emotionally anchored into everything that you need to be able to do. Oh, I don't think so. I think there's some time for you to have to like kind of sit, digest, let your mind mull through those things as well. So we're going to go through everything together right now. Then you're going to set some time aside immediately after this for you to post and like do the actual kind of work. Then you can put everything into the members group after this, and then we'll have a crystal clear plan, because starting January, we have another intensive where we're all coming back together, where we're going to be showing you some really cool campaigns and methods to then like hit the ground running. So literally from January, we come back together and we actually project plan. So today is not putting together the exact projects, the exact tactics of step by step. Today's big picture, making sure you're very crystal clear on what it is that you need to be able to do. So then when we come together at the start of January, we hit the ground running and we can make this happen. Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
Amazing. So let's go through this. And if you haven't got the workbook open, I highly suggest that you do. So first thing that we need to be able to do together is measure backwards. Because I think a lot of the time what we're doing is we're always looking forwards and we're trying to measure forwards. We're trying to say like, oh, I haven't gotten to X. You've got this goal in your mind. I want to get to $1 million a year, for example. And let's say you're just not there. What the problem is that gap between where you are now and where you want to go, it creates strain and it creates a bit of a sad feeling because there is that gap. And so what I want to do is I want us to look back and to be able to get some good reflection. And so for me, we're going to look at the key areas of life first, so we have more of a holistic view of it. Okay. So my rule for this is, as we measure backwards, you're going to rank yourself 1 out of 10 in each of these areas. However, you cannot use the number 7. To me, the number 7 is a cop-out. So it's either, if you think it's like a 7, it's either an 8, which is a good, it's like, that's a good passing grade, or a 6, which is a, that's not great. That's getting on the mediocre side of things. So we can't use a 7 as we go through that right now. So let's go through this together. We're going to jump straight into it right now. First, love relationships. When you look back onto the last 12 months of your life, how would you rank yourself in the effort that you put in and the outcome? So kind of mix the two together. What's the effort that you've put in to growing, nurturing, strengthening love relationships? And what's the actual outcome been as well? How would you rank that? For myself, like Lauren, she's literally probably less than a week away from giving birth to our 4th daughter. This has been amazing for our marriage. Actually, I should have known this, but in 5 days' time, we have our 10-year wedding anniversary coming up as well. And I feel like it's getting better and better and better. So I would rank myself as an 8 of a love relationship going through it. And I feel really good about that, because I feel like a lot of the time, unfortunately, do you know what I mean? I can take things such as my marriage and such as Lauren for granted. And I don't think that's a good thing. So I've been really making sure I tap back in and I kind of like do the work and make sure I'm there for it as well. So have we ranked ourselves with love relationships? You can give me a thumbs up. silky smooth. Next one, friendships. How would you rank yourself with friendships? Have you strengthened great friendships? Have you created new friendships? Have you put the effort in to nurture those friendships? And how would you think that your friendships are on a whole if you really had to have a third person look? If you stepped outside of yourself and someone else was having a good hard long look at yourself, how would friendships be? 1 out of 10, can't be a 7. Are we good with that? Good. Next one, family. When it comes to family, how has your family relationships been in the last 12 months? I'm a bit so-so with this one, to be perfectly honest. I really miss my mum and dad. They're in Sydney, and I haven't seen them for a while now, and I really miss them. Like, honestly, I was actually like really thinking last night, God damn, I really miss my folks. But I have to ask myself, have I put the effort in because I haven't been able to travel back to Australia to really nurture that relationship with my mum and dad? Honestly, I didn't do the greatest of effort. I'd rank myself as a 6 on this one. When I went through this process, I'm a 6 on family, which, do you know, does that feel great? No, it doesn't. But that's a good thing because that gives me a true indication of what's going on as well. Next, adventures. How has the adventurous side of your life been in the last 12 months? Have you done anything adventurous? Have you felt adventurous? I know last time that we did this, there was a lot of us that were like, I've done nothing on this side of my life right now. And again, that's okay, but rank yourself 1 out of 10, can't use a 7 right now. I know when I did adventures, dudes, I ranked myself as a 5. Not great, right? Not good. Next, environment. Now, when I say environment, it's what is the environment that you are surrounding yourself in, such as your home environment, your work environment, the people that you're just surrounding yourself in, the things that you're putting into your mind, just in a very general aspect. Is the environment that you are living in, is it conducive to you living the life that you want to live? Okay. And I think this is a really important one that a lot of us don't take into aspect. So I think it's really, really important. Next, mind. So when it comes to mind, are you learning? Are you growing? Are you mastering the skills that you need to master for you to live the life that you want? Now, especially in a business context right now, it is, are you doing the work to actually mastering the skills? If you know that you need to be better at sales, are you actually doing the work? Are you reading the books? Are you reviewing your own calls? Are you keeping in mind, such as like listening to podcasts and doing the things that are going to have you master the skills that you need to master? Now, for me, I like the mind aspect to be specific. So for me, slight tangent, but hopefully this might help. Next year, what I'm going to do is I'm breaking the year into 2-month chunks. So there's going to be 6 2-month chunks where I'm going to just focus on mastering one skill in each chunk, right? So I've chosen 6 subjects that I want to become highly proficient in, and I go all in for 2 months on that one subject. So everything that I'm listening to, everything, well, not everything, but like the books that I'm reading, the books that I'm listening to, the articles that I'm reading, like the very conscious amount of time and effort that I put in each day and each week that is specific for that as well. Next, spiritual. Now, spiritual, if you feel like, what the hell are you talking about, Chris? Spiritual for me is simply going to be a case of like, how much are you feeling as one with wholeness with everything at the end of the day? Like, do you have even a spiritual side to yourself? If no, that's perfectly fine. Because remember, there is no right or wrong with this. I actually rated myself as an 8 with this. And I was like, yeah, I feel like I've done really, really good at the start of the year, and very much for the first at least 4, probably 5 months. I really studied a lot of Dzogchen, which is a specific Buddhist path. And then I really studied a lot into Stoic philosophy as well. And it's been incredibly helpful for me. Next, health and fitness. Are you looking, feeling, performing the way that you want to look, feel, and perform on a day-to-day basis? How do you rank yourself? How do you rank yourself on the effort that you've put in? And how do you rank yourself with the actual outcome as well? I ranked myself with a 9 with this one. I feel like I absolutely nailed it this year, if I could be perfectly honest. And I was like, shit, that was really good. Now I'm like, how do I easily keep that momentum all the way through? So it's just like, look, mom, no hands. I'm just driving the car and it's just like doing its own thing. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it was something that was good getting into the habits, but I'm very much trying to focus on having those habits stick and not wavering off. Next, financial. Now we come to the stuff that we're really here and talking together as a group. Financial. How would you rank yourselves with finances when it comes to yourself? Have you put the effort in? Did you achieve your financial goal this year? And rank yourself 1 out of 10, can't use a 7. And then lastly, business. When it comes to your business, how would you rank your success in business? Again, did you put the effort in? Do you know what I mean? Like when you really had to have a good, long, hard look at yourself, did you put the effort in? And also, did you succeed as well? So, have we ranked ourselves? Thumbs up. Beautiful, amigos. Now, next, let's go through this. What are the 3 areas I want to focus on in the next 12 months? Okay, so out of all of these areas that we've just went through, it doesn't mean the 3 areas that you rank lowest are the 3 areas you focus on the next month. That doesn't need to be the case at all. You get to choose here. This is 100% your own power. What are the 3 areas that you want to focus on in the next 12 months? So this time next year, when we come back together, let's just say, for example, you chose love relationship, financial and business, for example, and you're like, dude, I rank myself a 9 on those 3 things. I'd be like, hot diggity, that is absolutely amazing. You have very successfully gone through the year, right? Because it's not about, and this is like something that took me a while to understand, all of these different areas of life, it's not about trying to get 9s and 10s in all of them. I don't think that's the case. I think what gives me more peace is understanding that what actually happens is some are going to be higher, and because some are higher, some are lower, and that's okay. But in general, if we constantly keep reflecting, that means it's going to even itself out, but at least we're consciously choosing what it is that we want. Next question is, what does a win look like for the next 12 months? So the 3 areas that you chose, what for each of those things is like one thing, one sentence that you could say, if I did this, if I achieved this, that would be a win. So for example, it's financial. Let's say, for example, financial, it's going to be a case of, I have saved $150,000 into a freedom account, right? You've just got 150 grand sitting there in an account that is just like, that's for a rainy day. I know if anything happens, I've got at least 1 to 2 years of living expenses ready to rock and roll. And it just gives you that financial security, doing like a big warm hug. Okay. So what does a win look like for you in the next 12 months? This is probably one of the most important questions. And this is one of those questions I want you to come back to once we finish this, sitting down by yourself and making sure that this is true. Okay. So we run through this together and then we're going to be able to rock and roll. So before we keep going here, let's pause for a second. In the chat box, I want you to put in what your number 1 win for the next 12 months look like. So let's just quickly go through and make sure, because I know when other people put their 2 cents in and their ideas, it helps everyone else. So in the chat box, put in what's the number 1 thing that's going to make next year a win for you. What is it? I expect everyone to put a bloody answer in there as well. All right. What does a win look like for the next 12 months? All right. Josh says $100,000 invested, doing something with my money. Amazing. Elisha, 5 rental properties in the finances column. Beautiful. Kara, book released with over 5,000 downloads. Totally on board with that. And I think that's going to be an easy number. Sam, 30 VIP clients a month. Love that, dude. How much is a VIP client worth to you per month, Sam? Are you muted? Unmute.
$400 a month.
Sick. Okay. Amazing, dude. That's really, really good. Love that. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. Joe, membership site with 200 members. Yes. Really good. That's in the business aspect. Thornhill, over 10K a month income. Love that. Gemma, grow business to bring in over 20K a month. Beautiful. Monica, Amira, where are yours? This is good. This is really good. Let's just do a couple more. I'm not sure if you can even put in. Monica, have you got yours?
Do I just say it?
Yeah, just tell me right now.
I might sound very weird for some, because I don't think we can not succeed on our own. So I really feel that I need to connect myself to God to get the power, the wisdom to move forward, to move forward in the right directions in my life, so that I have the confidence and success that I require.
So if you had one objective measure that defined success next year, what would that be? And I think this is a good point, because we want it to be an objective thing that we can all point at and be like, oh yeah, totally, we got that.
That I know I'm on the right track.
Yeah, objectively
though,
how do we know that you're on the right track?
Yeah, whatever I do is the right path.
Okay, that's a subjective feeling. Do you notice the difference between the subjective and the objective?
How does my win look like? I know where I'm going to be, and as a result, the online business would have taken off as well.
Define taken off for me.
That I get clients.
How many clients?
I'd be happy with 10.
10 clients, boom. There now we have an objective measure to nail for. So that's really, really good. That's really good. And then also, just so we keep moving, Amira is doing over 10K a month with it as well. So I really appreciate that. Okay, so this is really good. Yeah, go Mike.
Sorry, I couldn't text because my phone doesn't let me while I'm driving. Anyways, for me, it's 15K a month.
Perfect, good, 15K. And how many clients would that be for you, Mike?
For that, it would be, I'm just doing the math, 12 clients per month.
12, okay. Dude, simple. Okay, amazing, really easy. This is good, team, really good. Okay, let's keep moving through here. So next is how will I celebrate? Now, what I want you to do, this is one that you're probably going to have to stew on for later, but what I want is I want you to think about what are the 3 things you're going to do for celebrations when you achieve the things that you achieve. Because remember, if we're not celebrating, if we're not having some fun, I think we're doing it wrong. So I want you to think about what are the 3 things you want to do for celebration. The way I like to think about celebration, if there's a little bit more of a context around it, it's simply going to be what's something I do for the world, what's something that I do for my inner circle community, like my friends and family, and what's something that I do for myself. Because I think it's nice to think about supporting the people that are putting up with your shit as you go through the process of doing it as well, doing it for a bigger, broader community, but then also making sure that you do it for yourself as well. Okay, next, this is where we get a little bit of the rubber meeting the road right now. So we're going to slightly change gears, and this is important that we do this, and this is something I've changed in this process. What we're going to go through now is your not to-do list. Okay, so the way that we're going to make sure this works is it's going to be a case of what are the current things that you are doing that you don't want to do, right? So literally, I want you to start making a list right now. What are the things that you do specifically in your business that you don't want to do? Now, you can also add things that are not specific for your business as well. And it can be things like doing the laundry, doing cooking. Do you know what I mean? Like doing shopping, like whatever it is as well. But I want you to start to write a list right now. Let it just boil up. What are the things that you do that you don't want to do? Or if I could be honest, you shouldn't be doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, so for example, it's like, I don't want to edit videos. I don't want to have to edit images. I don't want to have to post my social media stuff. I don't want to have to actually send the emails. I want to write the emails, but I don't want to have to like then go in and send the emails. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to have to answer customer service tickets. I don't want to have to try and figure out updating my funnels. I don't want to try and figure out and set up my Facebook ads. I don't want to keep going. Do you know what I mean? So I want you to write a list that's really important, because so much of the time, and this is something I've said, I think, Mr. Vega, you've heard me say this plenty of times recently, and it's simply going to be a case of addition through subtraction. Now, before we can start talking about the things that you need to start doing, and it feels like me adding more things to your plate, we need to clean up your plate first, because I'm just going to have a rough guess that everyone feels busy right now, right? No one's like, oh, dude, I got plenty of hours in the day, whatever, I can just do whatever I want. Like, just lay it on me, dude. I don't think that's the case. So I would rather deduct the things that then open up the time and space and energy for you to do the things that really matter in the first place. Because something that I think is very important that you need to walk away with, and this is something that we're going to cover in our January intensive, is, do you have behavior to results awareness? Right? So this was something like a bit of a mentor kind of like opened my eyes to recently. And that was a case of, do you know the things that actually get you the results? Dan Kennedy, and absolutely one of the best marketers that has ever lived, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he has something that is just extremely clever when it comes to highlighting there are only a few things that really make money in a business. Like, if you really tore all the things away, there's only a few things that really make the money in a business. Do you know what they actually are? Are you doing them? Because I guarantee if we did an 80-20 analysis on all the different things that you did in a day, that you're not actually going to be doing the things that are the most leveraging things most of the time. Okay. So the not to do list. Now, next step, if you've got a bit of a list, or if you want some time, just like let me know, and we can obviously have a little bit more time on the left-hand side, the list column. So keep putting down what the not to do in the list, just like just diarrhea it down, just dump it. Then what I want you to do is I want you to think of what are the top 3 things you want to not to do anymore. What are the top 3 things that you're going to work to get off your plate, right? Even in the chat box, throw in just like one of them. What's like the one thing that you think that you don't want to be doing, or you know that you shouldn't be doing? Like, put this into the chat box and let's actually see where our heads are at with this, because it's not about trying to get everything on the list off your plate straight away. That usually causes a lot of problems, but we're going to do it chunk by chunk, right? So for example, Joe says video editing. Totally understand. Like, I remember when I was editing my videos, I remember when it very first started, it was an absolute, oh my God, it was horrific. I had to get Lauren, my wife, to like set the camera up. And then she had to stand behind the camera to hit the record button. Then I had to like shoot, like speak and do the video. And I'd make like all the mistakes, like the bloopers that would have come out of that. The amount of swearing was not pretty. Do you know what I mean? It was like a sailor. And then I had to there was times as well that then I would finish the recording of the videos, then get the SD card, put it into the computer. I got a video editor. I paid him for like 2 hours of time for him to show me how to use Final Cut Pro. And I was like, dude, just show me the bare basics so I can actually like put a video together. Then there was times I'd put it in and I'd look at the video and Lauren hadn't made it clear. I was blurred out. I was like, dude, I've just shot like an hour of video and then like I was blurry, or there was no sound. Like maybe the microphone wasn't probably plugged in. So I feel like I made like all the mistakes in the world when it comes to that. So that was not fun. So when we think about our not to do list, we've got video editing, not to do, messaging prospects, not to do, social media posting, making sales calls, outreach, chat to client, subtracting sales, adding coaching, appointment setting, social media posting, hunting, all very good things. So you've got a good grasp on this, and I would agree to all of those. Now, next to the 3 top not to do things, what's your next action to get it off your plate? You need to know what your next action is so that you're going to get this off your plate. And I would say that you should have within the next 30 days, not doing it, right? You need to commit. And remember, this is you self-parenting, self-leading, you being an adult. You need to commit to following through. And the best way to make sure we know what to do is to get momentum, and momentum comes from taking the first step, which is why I need you to know what's the next action for you to do this. Okay. So the first top 3, what's the action you need to do? The second, what's the next action you need to do? The third, what's the next action you need to do? Okay. So then literally after this session that we do together, you can look at your worksheet and you can be like, dude, this is amazing. All right, I know what I need to do, and it's in your to-do list, and you can get after it. But I'd really say in the next 30 days, these things should not be done. All right, amigos, let's keep rocking. We're doing really well here. Next is what I've called the forward focuser. Okay, now we start to look into next year. Okay, so this is really starting to look into the next 12 months. What is it we need to do? This is a framework that I got from Vishen Lakhiani that runs Mindvalley. I think this is one of the awesomest frameworks that I really kind of like default back to. And it's simply, what is it that I want to experience in the next 12 months? How is it that I need to grow in the next 12 months so that I can experience that? And then when I've experienced that, how can I contribute back to the world? I think this is really good, right? So let me go through it again. Is what is it that you want to experience? And I use that word specifically, right? It's like, you don't want to achieve something. No, you want to achieve something because it gets you to feel something, because you get to experience something, okay? So what are the things that you want to experience in the next 12 months? And I think you should have, let's aim for a 3 to 5 bullet point list on this. Right? I think 3 to 5 is a good starting. If you feel like you're brain dumping and there's like heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps, I think that's good, but I think you've got to bring it back. And I think if you've only got 1 or 2, maybe it's not enough. So I kind of like the 3 to 5 to give you a good list. So what is it that you want to experience? It could be, I'm experiencing 25K months, right? I'm experiencing leads coming in, clients signing on, clients getting coached, and this feeling really easy for me. It could be, I'm experiencing putting into my investments $8,000 a month. Do you mean? I've got the money that I live on, then I've got the money that I invest, and I'm continuing to grow my wealth. It could be, I want to experience, like for me, one of mine is, I want to experience being a really great dad to 4 daughters. That's one that I want in 2022. It could be, I want to experience climbing a mountain. Go talk to Joe. Could be, I want to experience being a really handsome dude. Go talk to Elisha. Something like that. I'll just give you 30 more seconds. And again, as you're doing this, if you feel like you're a little bit down the dumps, this is like an important part. Take a couple of big deep breaths and be like, okay, like raise your energy, raise your vibrations and get into a good state. You don't want to be, what do I want to experience next year? Like, fuck that. No, don't want to do that. You got to come from a good place, right? So once you've got a list coming down of what is it that I want to experience, this is really important. How is it that I need to grow so that I can experience that? The basics are, you have not experienced things, you have not achieved certain things because you are not that person to be able to do that yet, right? And if you can take that responsibility on board, Then the next question's easy, which is, how do I need to grow? What skills do I need to master? What behaviors do I need to install? What are the thoughts I need to do? What are the habits that I need to put into place so that I can then achieve and experience and have these things? This is when you've got to be real with yourself. Like, obviously, as me and other coaches, like, we want to be able to like bring clarity to this. But this is when self-awareness is really important. Like, you need to be able to have a good, long, hard look at yourself. Like, for example, let's say your content isn't getting much traction, right? And you're like, I'm putting content out, but no one's liking it. I'm not getting leads from it, blah, blah, blah. Well, do you need to create better content? Do you need to be able to practice in front of the camera? Do you need to be able to write better words so that they're more persuasive? Do you mean? And again, that's just skills to grow. You can't expect to grow a successful business without becoming highly skilled in certain areas. And the only way you become highly skilled is by learning and practicing, and then doing that, rinse and repeating. Now, lastly, how do you want to contribute back? So let's say you've achieved the things you've wanted to achieve next year. Okay. Let's say we come back together next year. You're like, dude, I crushed it. I did it. So good. I've mastered the skills. I've become highly competent in the things I've needed to do. I've got the behaviors. I've got the thoughts. I've got the habits. And then it's like, now I'm also, this is the way I'm giving back to the world. And it could be super small. Do you know what I mean? I'm not asking you to like give everything away, but I think there is some effective altruism that needs to come into play with this as well. I think if you're just doing it for yourself, it comes from a scarce victimhood mentality. And I think you got to think about, how can you give back? Give back to yourself, give back to your friends and family, your clients, your close inner circle, and give back to a broader world. Okay. Thumbs up if you're good with this. Obviously, you're going to need to come back and like flesh this out, but we want to make sure there's momentum and traction through this. Good, great, grand. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Now, many of you would likely have seen this before, but this is one of the methods that we use to diagnose how's everything going in your current business. So now we get a little bit more kind of tactical and practical into what is actually going on right now. Okay, so let's do this first. First question up the top: how would I like my business to look in 12 months? I want you to answer this. How would I like my business to look like in 12 months? I don't want to put words in your mouth right now, so I want you to be able to answer this whichever way you want to be able to answer this. Okay. How do you want your business to look like in 12 months? Again, let's say we're sitting down next year, same time, we're having a good chat, and you're like, dude, this is how my business looks. I'm so happy. This is so good. Like that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of like peace. You know that feeling of peace when you're like, oh, it's good. Like, oh, you can have that out breath and that stress and that anxiety and that just constant like, I'm trying to work so hard. It's not exactly working for me. Like, that's not cool. I don't love that. So what I want you to do, how does your business look like in 12 months? Now, let's get a little bit practical. It's always great to use like metrics, but we're going to go off guesstimations right now as we go through it. Okay, so we're going to start from left to right, and there's the 5 key drivers, the 5 key areas of each of our businesses. We need to generate leads. We need to nurture those leads and get them into our sales pipelines. We need to convert those leads to clients. We need to deliver them great results, and we need to keep them and upsell them. So retention and upsell. Okay. So let's start with lead generation. I want you to rank yourself. So there's 4 areas that you can drop yourself into, right? We're trying to make this easy. When it comes to lead generation, is it a problem? Is it a weakness? Is it a strength? Or is it a superpower? How would you rank yourself? Is it a problem? Is it a weakness? Is it a strength? Is it a superpower? If you're like, shit, man, I'm not getting many leads at all, this is not good, it's a problem. Is it like, it kind of feels like it's dripping in, but like, I don't feel like I've got great control of this, it's a weakness. If it's like, yeah, this is good, but I know it's an orange light, it's not a green light, it's a strength. And if it's like, yeah, dude, leads are pouring in right now, I need to actually fix other problems because I've got plenty of leads, it's a superpower. That's amazing, right? And again, please keep in mind as we go through this exercise, the idea is not to have 5 superpowers, right? I don't think that really happens because, for example, let's say for example, in this current quarter right now, we're going to look at your lead generation. Let's say it's a weakness, right? You go, okay, my lead generation right now is a weakness, but your conversion is a superpower. You're like, dude, get me on a call with someone. I'm going to sign that person on. I feel really confident about that. Now, what could happen is if we get your lead generation cranking, what could happen is your conversions actually start to come down. Your conversion rates can start to come down because that system isn't held to be able to handle the amount of leads that are coming in. Do you know what I mean? So lead generation goes up, but conversions go down. And then you kind of have this like topsy-turvy thing. So it's not about having 5 out of 5. It's just getting a good snapshot of what's going on now. Next, lead nurturing. So when someone comes into your world, how effective are you then getting them into your sales pipeline, right? So if people are on your email list, in your Facebook group, they're watching your Instagram, they're doing all the things they're in your world, they know who you are, how effective are you then able to get them onto sales calls, right? That's the easiest way to think about this. I've got these people, let's say it's an email list. I've got these people opting into my email list. They're coming through my challenge. They're coming through my lead magnet. They're getting into my ads, but are they actually booking calls with me, right? That's the easiest way to look at that. Is it a problem? Is it a weakness? Is it a strength? Is it a superpower? Next is conversion, which is when I get someone onto a sales call, or let's say when I get someone into my sales page, for example, like Cara could be using sales page as the example because she's going to be selling the challenge. Or if you're selling 365, the high ticket program, it's getting people onto a call, right? How good are you at getting them actually signing on? And the way that I would look at this is think of the percentages, right? So let's say if you have 10 people jump on a call with you and you're signing on 7 people, it's a strength. Thumbs up, that's a strength, right? If you get 10 people, think of it, last 10 people have jumped on a call with you. If you're like, oh, I got maybe 5 or 6 of those people to actually sign on, okay, we call that a weakness. If it's obviously below 5, it's a problem. And if it's 8, 9, or 10 out of 10, then it's a superpower. That's great, okay? So where are you with your conversions? Next, delivery. We can cut this cake a few different ways, but let's just make it easy. When a client comes on board, number 1, are they getting really great results? 2, are they staying on board with you? If you feel like clients are coming on, but they're soon slipping off and going away, and they're not getting great results, which the two will probably link together with each other as well, then, do you know what I mean? You have a problem, or you have a weakness, or you have a strength, or you have a superpower. How would you rank your system to be able to actually coach your clients? Are they getting great results? Are they sticking on board? Now, last one, retention and upsell, right? So effectively, the easiest way to think about this is once a client comes on board, are we getting them to stay on board longer than their initial program? Just think it from that end. If we think front end of your business is getting someone signed on to your 12-week program, and the back end of your business is then getting them signed on to like the 12-month program, how effective are you at getting those across the line? Which is if you had the last 10 clients finish a 12-week program in this example, and let's say you had 6 of them move on to the 12-month program and therefore massively increase their lifetime value worth to you, then you would have a weakness. If you had 7 or more, you'd have a strength. If you had like 8, 9, 10, you'd have a superpower. And if you had obviously less than 5, it would be a weakness, a problem, sorry. Now, super quick snapshot. And this is really important because what I need you to do, okay, once you finish this document, can you please either take a photo or take a screenshot, and we're going to have a thread in the members group, right? In the inner circle members group, there's going to be a thread saying 5 drivers, put your 5 drivers here, and you're going to put your screenshot of your photo in there. So then we can see those. We can see how you have ranked yourself with these, okay? So what's working well? What are the 1 or 2 aspects of your business when we look at the 5 drivers that's working well? Is it lead generation? Is it lead nurture? Is it conversion? Is it delivery? Or is it retention and upsell? What's working well? And then what's not working? What are the things that is not working so well? What are the 1 or 2 things that are not working so well? Now, just so you know, the easiest way that we look at this, and especially as your coaches, is we work left to right when looking at this diagram, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to pinpoint, well, what's the problem? Let's say if you've got a weakness or a problem in lead generation, we'll likely start with that first, right? And then we'll move to the right and be like, all right, what are the other things? Because effectively what we want, and this is obviously what we're going to be doing in the January intensive, is when we get together, you're going to walk away knowing the 3 projects that you need to be doing that is going to massively speed up your growth, okay? And it's going to be, all right, you need 1 project in lead generation, you need 1 project in conversion, you need 1 project in delivery. These are the exact projects that you're going to need to do. And then you know what it is that you need to do moving forward in the next quarter. Really simple, okay? So if you can please commit, promise that you're going to drop a screenshot or a photo of these 5 drivers into the members group, then we'll have this ready to rock and roll for you as well. But let's keep going. This one, I want you to take a couple of breaths. This is going to be becoming a little bit of numbers right now, okay? Now, good news is I'm a meathead. I'm not a numbers dude. So if I can do this, God damn it, you can do this as well, okay? This is really important that we do this. This is like going to wrap this up. And I want to make sure that we do this slowly, step by step by step. So I don't want you to get confused. I'm going to make this as easy as possible as we do this, okay? This is the last major step of today, okay? Last major step of today. So numero uno, number A, what's your annual income goal? I want you to write down how much money do you want to make in the next 12 months? Okay. How much money do you want to make for the next 12? Let's actually do an example. Elisha, can you unmute yourself, brother? We're going to use you as an example as we go through this. Okay. So for you, how much money do you want to make in the next 12 months?
I want to make 200K without me having a coach. So that's the annual income goal from that.
Okay. Amazing. I love this. Okay. So what we do, and I'm going to do this slowly so everyone sticks with me, okay? You're going to take your annual income goal and we're going to get your monthly income goal. Hopefully that's pretty simple, but you just take your full annual number divided by 12, okay? So per month, I'm just going to round it up. Elisha needs to be earning $17,000 a month. And did you say, Elisha, that's without you coaching?
Yeah, without me having to coach anybody.
Perfect. I love that, dude. Absolutely love that. Okay. So you take your annual goal, get your monthly goal divided by 12. That's pretty obvious. Now, C, what do you charge per client per month? So Elisha, how much do you charge per client per month?
500.
Beautiful. $500. So everyone else, I want you to put in, what do you charge per client per month? Next, how many clients do you need on board per month to hit your monthly income goal? So you divide B by C, right? So for Elisha, he needs $17,000 per month and he's charging $500 per month. So you divide by 500, which means he only needs 34 clients. So at this point, we like to pause for a second. We like to ask a different question. We say, Out of a 7+ billion person world, do you think you can have 34 clients on board? And what do you think, Elisha?
Heck yes, 100%.
Yes, 100%. Okay, super easy. I don't know if you can hear, but there's some dogs chasing a bike outside of my office. Okay, next. E, how many clients do you have right now? Right now, this is where we start to bridge the gap between it. Now, Elisha, in your case right now, I'm going to pause with your example and we're going to start with someone starting from scratch. So I'm just going to say, all right, Elisha, you're starting from 0 right now, right? And which means we know that we just need to be able to get 34 clients. But for everyone else, I want you to put in how many clients do you currently have right now? Write that number down. Now we move to F. How many new clients do you need? You can see I'm really making this like we're connecting the dots here. We're painting by numbers. How many new clients do you need? So let's say, for example, Elisha needs 34 new clients, but he already had 10. Then he only needs 24 new clients, for example, right? So for you, how many new clients do you need? I'll give you a second to do that. Amazing. Okay, next. This gets a little bit more complicated, but this is where people just don't think about it. I was going to say fall short, but they just don't even think about it. We need to include your churn. So your churn is how many clients do you lose on like a month-to-month basis, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to have a guesstimate. If you know what your monthly churn is, great, you're going to times it by that number. If you don't, I'm just going to give you a rough estimate and say that you're going to be losing at a 10% monthly churn, right? Which is not good, which means the number that we're going to come with is going to be over the top, which if anything, you're going to make a lot more money than what we actually plan out with next year than right now, right? So that's kind of the basis I'm going with. I'm going to make sure that we make the numbers low and you're going to be massively overreaching these numbers. So what you do is you're going to multiply the number by 0.1, which then gives you how many new clients do you need? So you take that, how many new clients do you need? Multiply it by 0.1. Now we say, how many new clients do you need? So let's say, for example, I can just do this off the top of my head. Let's say, for example, with Elisha, right? He needs 34 new clients. I'm going to say, you know what, including churn of 10%, let's call it 4 clients, right? So now what we do is he's going to need 38 clients because that now includes the clients that will then drop off as well, right? Simple. That was the hardest part of this whole exercise. You've done it. Now, let's go through some next steps that are really important, okay? So this is when we actually start putting together your sales pipeline numbers. This is the projections that you need to have in place, okay? So the next question is, how many strategy calls do you need for us to get the amount of new clients that you need? Okay, so let's say with Elisha, we've got the number 38. He only needs 38 clients for him to be able to earn 200K a year, and he's not doing any of the coaching. Okay, how many strategy calls do you need? Now, I'm going to give you the numbers of the sales pipeline. Let's say we're just doing it at a 50% conversion rate, right? Which when we go back to the 5 drivers, that's a weakness in conversion. 50% conversion rate is a weakness. So again, you're going to earn more money than what we're going to come out with this number anyway. Thumbs up for that one. So if he needs 38 new clients and he's at a 50% conversion rate, the math is super easy. Multiply it by 2, right? So he's going to go 38 times 2. So he needs 76 strategy calls. So take whatever number you had for how many new clients you need and multiply it by 2, please. right? That's how many strategy calls you need. So he needs 76 strats. Give me a thumbs up if you're still with me. If you think I'm speaking Cantonese, let me know. Okay, we're good. You're doing really well. Now, how many triage calls does Elisha need? Thank you, Amira. How many triage calls does Elisha? Guess what? Guess what number we're going to use? I'm going to keep it simple. 50%, right? So you take your number of strategy calls, which in Elisha's case is 76, and you're going to multiply it by 2. So he needs 152 triage calls. So take the number of how many strategy calls you had and multiply it by 2. Keep this super simple for you. That's how many triage calls that you need. How many applications do you need? Guess what? Guess you're picking up what I'm putting down. We're going to multiply it by 2. We're just going to do 50% conversions. Technically, it should be a lot higher, but again, this is going to make it super simple. So if he needs 152 triage calls times by 2, that's 304 applications needed. Let me pause just for a second here. Yeah, Joe, if you convert it 75%, you can do that. I'm not doing it for you. So if we pause here for a second, okay, Elisha needs 38 clients to earn $200,000 in a year. That means he needs to have 76 strategy calls, 76 calls where he then closes people into the program. For him to have 76 strategy calls, he needs 152 triage calls. This is over the whole year, FYI, right? So he needs 152 triage calls. So their triage call is simply the call to qualify, is this person actually someone I can help, right? It's the 10-minute chat, can I actually help this person? 152 of those conversations. Then he needs 304 people to apply for a call. Okay? 304 people apply for the call. Kara says, I'm glad you clarified it was per year. My head was about to explode. Yeah, totally. This is over the whole year. So that this is the beauty about it, because then we get to break this down. Joe, it's 50%, the whole thing, all the way through, 50, 50, 50. So you take how many clients you need, multiply by 2, that's your strategies. Multiply that number by 2, that's how many triages. Multiply that by 2, that's how many applications. Now, this is something that I recently picked up for a mentor, and I think it is actually quite true, because the next question, if you were to ask the question, which is a smart question to ask, is how many opt-ins do I need? Let's say the main funnel you're running is a lead magnet funnel. You're giving a book away, a recipe book away, a workout away, something like that, right? How many opt-ins do I need to then get the amount of applications, amount of triages, amount of strategies, right? I think it is easiest to work off a 10%, right? So stick with me right now. You've got this. We've got one more step to do, okay? The amount of applications that you have. So for Elisha, it's 304. I want you to multiply that by 10, okay? Multiply that by 10. That's how many people you need to opt in to your funnel all the way through. This is how simple this is. This is why it's a numbers game for us to be able, like, this is why as coaches, we can jump on a call, diagnose really quickly what's going on, know exactly what it is that you need to be able to do to fix it. And then the business starts rocking and rolling. It's super simple. I'm showing you the behind the scenes of like the secret sauce, because it's not actually that secret. It's not actually that special at the end of the day, right? You know, it's when people say it's like the special sauce, and it's really just tomato sauce and mayonnaise mixed together. And you're like, oh, that's amazing. That's not that special, right? This is the special sauce. Do you like that, Gemma? I used to do that as a kid. I used to love that shit. Terrible, terrible. So what we've got now is we went one step beyond, and then we worked out how many opt-ins you need. I did a little bit of an extra step for you. And so what we've got is Elisha only needs, okay, do I have permission to go a little bit advanced right now? Give me a hands up if I can go a little bit advanced. If it goes over the top of your head, we'll chat about it in the next intensive. It's okay, but I just want to put this down for you, okay? And that is what we want to do is we want to break down all the numbers from marketing to sales. So in Elisha's case, he needs 3,040 people to opt into his lead magnet, right? So one of our lead magnets right now is with the ads. So let's say, Elisha, I'm running a Facebook ad to get people to opt in to my funnel. Okay, we've got that. That's easy enough to understand. Now we've got one funnel that's converting at $2.10, right? So for him, if he needs 3,040 people and each opt-in is costing $2.10, that means he needs to spend $6,384 to get the amount of opt-ins, that get him the amount of sales calls, that get him the amount of clients needed. That's pretty simple. Do you know what I mean? Like, not that hard. And I know this sounds really weird, because then the next question is, would you spend $6,384 for you to have a $200,000 a year business? It's not exactly apples to apples, but it's actually extremely close when you break this down. And this is why, number one, it's all about setting the engine up. Do we have all the parts of the engine set together? Because then essentially I can say to Elisha on every one of our weekly coaching calls, Elisha, how many opt-ins did you get this week? And he'll say X amount. Great. How much did you spend to get those opt-ins? He'll say Y amount. I'll be great. We're on track. Keep going. Done. Do you know what I mean? As long as this sales pipeline stays true to the numbers, as in, okay, people are opting in, those people are then booking calls, those people are then getting onto triages, those people are then getting onto strategies, those people are converting onto the sales, are converting into the program. And then we've got that really nicely knitted together, okay? So the final step, we come back to the basics, right? The final step is, how many weekly applications do you need? So in Elisha's case, we had 304 applications, okay? So all we do is we take that 304, we divide it by 48. Why would I divide it by 48, Chris? There's 52 weeks in a year. Yeah, I want you to take 4 weeks off next year, right? I'm not working off a 52 work week. I'm working off you taking 4 weeks off next year. Is that okay by you? Can you take 4 weeks off for me next year? Cool. Please do that at least. And that's why I say, so in that case, Elisha needs, let's round up. He needs 7 applications per week. He needs 1 application a day. 1 application a day. Elisha needs to wake up every morning and he needs to say, I just need 1 application today. I need to do the lead generation. I need to do the hunting. I need to get my ads working. I need to do the things that are going to get the applications per day. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. It makes dollars, and it makes lots of dollars when you finally understand the simplicity behind that, because that's the reason why I wanted to do this exercise for you. Because right now, what we've got is a really simple system for you to understand what needs to be set up for you to hit your income goal next year, right? Because then what we do in our annual planning intensive, in our January intensive for the quarter, we come together and we put this together for you, right? And we say, what are the 3 key projects that you need to be doing? How much money do you want to be earning? How many clients do you need to have? How many leads do you need to be bringing in? And we make sure this is filled in completely before getting off that session, because then you can wake up every single day and you have the checkbox of what the things are that you need to do to make the 12 months really simple. And if you feel energized right now and you're like, oh shit, like I kind of want that light bulb moment to go off in your head and go, that actually isn't that hard, right? It's not that hard in this case for Elisha to run a 200 grand a year business without him doing any coaching, 1 application a day. At the moment, we're doing an average of 5.5 applications a day, right? And that's like easy stuff. And that needs to get fixed and increased. So what I need you to then think about right now is okay, Chris is telling me that this is what my sales pipeline numbers need to look like. I know exactly how many opt-ins I need. I know exactly how many calls need to be booked. I know exactly how many clients I need signed up for me to hit my annual goal. Does that make sense to you? Are we cool with that? Is there any questions when it comes to this whatsoever? We've nailed it. This has been incredible. Okay. Do you feel like this is doable for you? Yeah. Does it feel like, is there anything that you could like come to mind where it's like, oh, what's the biggest struggle? It's like literally right now, I want to know, what do you think is the one thing that's going to get in your way? Myself, Joe, I was about to say this, probably the biggest thing that we should all be most aware of is ourselves getting in their own way. And that's something where, honestly, us as your coaches, we've come together a lot recently to be like, this is actually really simple. Like, I've got to be straight up and honest. This is actually a really simple process to get your business up and running and cranking. Most of the time we see if it's not happening is because the person isn't aware of what they're doing, isn't leading to the results of what they need. And that's why if someone's like, I need to change the logo on my website, my first question is, does that affect how many applications you're going to get per week? Right? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? It's like, now you have a North Star question to ask yourself. Does that get me one application a day in Elisha's example? Right? Because if it doesn't, don't do it. Don't do it. And that's also why when we come back to this not to-do list, why this is so important is because you've got to think about all the things that directly get you applications and ensure the systems of your business are put together so that you're signing clients on and keeping them is put together, right? And then how do you do more of the things that are your highest leverage tasks? And your highest leverage tasks are going to be the things ensuring your ads are running properly, or your organic lead generation is humming along, or you're holding the sales calls, or if you don't want to be holding the sales calls, having someone else do them for you. Do you know what I mean? Or if you want to be doing the coaching, or in Elisha's case, he doesn't want to be doing the coaching. So he just makes sure there's coaches on board to be able to do that. And then we can run through that process as well. Is that cool, Beans? Has this been helpful? Are you excited for next year? Good. Now we can make it happen.